You're tuned in to the frequency of the crypto revolution. Your host, Daryl Bryan,
Trap money,
aka Bit Chapo. Bringing you the latest in bitcoins, altcoins, news events, price volatility, and the knowledge they don't want you to know. 100% facts, no printer, is the most lit podcast in all of cryptocurrency. Vibrations out of this world. And it all begins right now. You already know.
It's going down.
Hello everybody and welcome to its Crypto Podcast. I am your host Daryl Bryan, aka Bit Chapo. Today we have an amazing podcast for you, so stick around till the end. Our topics for today is mining, what it really is, how it helps the Bitcoin network in security, and how can you be profitable in 2018, specifically August of 2018. What does it take? Let's get into it. If you're unfamiliar of the process of mining, I'll give you a brief description. Transactions are broadcasted to a global mempool. Think of it as pending. Whenever you send someone something or order a package from Amazon, it says pending, right? The item hasn't shipped yet. So these transactions are pending. It takes miners all across the globe with hardware specific to include these transactions in a global ledger. Your transaction is sent to the mempool. A miner selects your transaction, puts it in a block, and this happens every 10 minutes. Now, in order for this block to be created, it has to be done through solving a difficult math problem. Now, this math problem can be done by hand, but to be honest, the level of difficulty required and the level of speed required makes it virtually impossible. So we use graphics cards from computers, GPUs specifically, to solve these cryptographic hash algorithms. In Bitcoin, we call this proof of work. There's different mining algorithms for different currencies, but for Bitcoin specifically, it's called proof of work. These miners, they earn a profit. Whoever wins by solving the problem first, they earn a profit. Their profit comes in two ways: through mining reward itself, which is a fixed amount depending on which year it was mined. I'll explain that later. And the second way they get paid is through the transaction fees. When you send a transaction through Bitcoin, you're gonna have an input and an output. How much ever you initially sent and how much ever you actually sent. Usually there'll be a tiny amount difference. That is the fee. That fee goes directly to the miner to pay them for saying thank you for broadcasting my transaction to the global ledger. It's now confirmed and I have full use of my money. So the reason these miners are important is not only to give you your transaction confirmation, but they're important in securing the network. When you look at traditional systems, such as the US system, the banking system, we have a central authority. This central authority is responsible for checking every transaction, broadcasting them to the network, and validating them. As we see in the past, a central authority does not really have all that accuracy in preventing fraud. I mean, how much fraud occurs per year? It's insane. And another thing is that if you want to hack this central authority, you just have to go to one place. As long as you hack them, you hack the entire network. Now with Bitcoin, since this is a mining system, this is the first of its kind. People from all over the world have a ledger. And on their ledger, they are independently verifying every single transaction. Now the reason this is important, there is no central authority in Bitcoin. There's no one person, one man, one company, one woman to dictate whether a transaction is yes or no. Everything is done through math. It's done through the algorithm, through the graphical processing of the computers. Now, as we approach the security model of this, once your transaction is broadcasted in a block and it's included in the block, every other block contains the history of the block before it. It's a chain connecting every single block to each other. In other words, blockchain. And by doing this, every transaction, the longer it exists, it becomes more secure. It becomes more cemented in the system of Bitcoin itself. Now, let's go back to what I was saying before on the first method of how miners get paid. Miners get paid based upon solving the problem first. Now, their reward is cut in half every 4 years. Back in 2009, each miner that solved a block earned 50 Bitcoin. In 2012, this was cut in half to 25 Bitcoin per block. In 2016, this was cut in half to 12.5 Bitcoin per block. So what this means, a miner earns considerably less money every 4 years when they solve the same cryptographic hash function. Now, the reason this is important to understand, and I want to talk about this, is that this is one of the things that is preventing miners from sustaining profits in the future. Another thing is Bitcoin difficulty. As a result of Bitcoin mimicking gold in the aspect of creating new coins becomes increasingly difficult, or adding coins to the network becomes less frequent as time goes by. Bitcoin has enacted this method of difficulty. Every 2 weeks, they increase the difficulty to solve the hash function, the cryptographic hash function. Now, this does two things. Number one, it pushes miners to upgrade their graphical hardware equipment. Every miner has to keep up with the race, and if they don't, then they will be left behind and they won't be able to eat. They won't be able to technically become the first person to earn that block, the first person to solve that block. The second thing this does is it creates an even playing field. There are limits right now to our graphical processing power in terms of creating new chips. We are approaching the point of how fast can we create hardware to keep up with the current rate of the Bitcoin difficulty. Now, as this difficulty increases in the coming years, we will reach an even point in which a person can buy a mining hardware or mining rig, and they can be on the same level as a professional company that has 1,000 rigs because of the difficulty in the chips and their ability to process data. Now, let's approach something other than the profits. Let's approach the power consumption of mining. Mining takes a lot of energy to do because, well, these graphical processing units, the GPUs, they use a lot of energy. They're solving advanced hash algorithms. Like, I'm talking about stuff that is difficult to do. So as a result, they use a lot of electricity. The problem with this is that how can you offset your electricity costs with your mining profits? And this is how we segue into earning profits in August of 2018. Now, we are in a current bear market. This bear market is extensive. Right now, as of this recording, we have seen a recent price surge in Bitcoin. Today is August 28th, 2018. Bitcoin just reached 7,000. But it's still low, and other cryptocurrency coins are well below like their highs, 80% down, and so forth. Mining right now is increasingly difficult to earn a profit. Let's talk about the reasons why. Well, number one, outdated hardware. Like I mentioned before, the Bitcoin difficulty chart increasingly harder to earn profits every 2 weeks because you're competing against the latest of the latest hardware across the globe. The Bitcoin network only rewards the person who completes and solves the problem first. It doesn't reward second place. Now, there are other methods to earn money, such as mining pools, but those methods you still have to keep up with your hardware, or else your contribution to the mining pool is not as much as a person who's keeping up with their hardware. The second thing that's preventing profits in mining is electricity costs. The average person in America, they pay cost per kilowatt hour is 12 cents. If you run this through Crypto Compare website, and let's say for this example in Crypto Compare, we have a hashing power, which is the amount that our machine is able to run. That's the highest amount that our machine is able to do. And your cost per kilowatt hour is 12 cents. Roughly, you're losing 8% per day in profit ratio. That means you're coming out to a loss of $103 per year. Mining itself is profitable upon certain conditions. These are the conditions that we found that you can turn a profit. Number one is buying the latest hardware as soon as everyone's in a plateau because of mining difficulty. What I mean by this is waiting maybe for the end of this year to the beginning of next year, when mining difficulty has reached an even match with the graphical processing unit's power. It puts everybody on an even scale when the latest chip can only go so far, and everyone has the latest chip. It makes the big guy equal with the little guy. A second thing you can do is offsetting your electricity costs by using untraditional methods. Adding solar, finding other sources of electricity that is cheaper or having a better rate. Those things can put you ahead in terms of mining because you don't have to pay as much expenses for your profit. Another thing you can do is to supplement your income. Most miners, they sell their coins as a result of offsetting their electricity costs and paying their bills. If you can find a way to offset this by having supplement income, another stream of income, you can allow yourself to keep your coins as time goes on and prices become bullish, overall trend is up, you will make a profit. You'll make more profit than your cohorts who are selling their coins in the bear market to pay for their electricity costs. With that being said, mining itself is a beautiful thing. It secures the network. It keeps the network safe. It makes us able to be a decentralized network. We don't depend on any one person, one man, one woman, or one company. We are finally able to speak for ourselves and have complete control over our coins, and that is through mining. Mining creates a finite amount of currency. We are not infinite here at Bitcoin. There will only be 21 million coins. We even have the exact date. Approximately 2140, no new Bitcoins will be issued. That means we will have hit our plateau of no more Bitcoins being created. So mining is amazing for the network. It helps people to earn money. It helps network confirmations to go faster by increasing the graphical power available. And really and truly, it's pushing us to our limits. I think that mining is one of the best things in cryptocurrency. But to be profitable in it, you're going to have to lower your electricity costs, wait until a plateau is coming in terms of Bitcoin difficulty and graphical power, and as well as find something to supplement your income so you don't have to sell your coins as you earn them. Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope you learned something new in this broadcast. This is a more serious topic, so we came with a more serious tone, but normally we like to keep a lighthearted spirit here at It's Crypto Podcast. If you learned something, share it with your friends. Follow us on social media. Twitter at It's Crypto Pod. Instagram at It's Crypto Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the frequency of the crypto revolution, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Revolution, the most lit podcast in all of cryptocurrency. 100% facts, no printer. Follow us on Twitter and stay in the loop. Peace, love, and light. See you soon.